Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So Labrynth, it's a new archetype that was revealed by Konami some time ago, a couple of days ago, and past upcoming days Konami keeps pumping out a new archetype. So it's time to pick up, the deck testing again for these new cards. And I'm honest, when I first saw the Labrynth card, I was like, these don't really seem that great, but, as soon as I was like, let's try them out, let's playtest, let's change the build here and there, and eventually I was like, no, these are pretty ridiculous. These are ridiculous. The thing is that the deck is somewhat heavily focused on traps, obviously, and depending on which kind of trap you activated, your engine, your deck starts snowballing, and with that I mean racking up the pluses. Like here, the deck is like a Stratos, the most left one. The deck has a couple of boss monsters here, one of them being the most right one, which can reset the trap from your graveyard during your turn. Plus, it also can have like maybe a confiscation-like effect, discard a card from your opponent's hand. What happens here? So again, things start snowballing, again, depending on, let's say, if you activate a normal trap, and that's the biggest gimmick, and some of the best traps here in the deck are traps that remove a monster from the field, so like destroy or bounce back, so like Compulse, the Ice Dragon's Prison, I believe the name is. You also have, I believe, the best trap, and that's the Archfiend trap. Archfiend, you know what I mean. The one that pops a card on the field and then lets you Foolish Burial a Fiend type from your deck to the graveyard. And that's very important. You want to have both these, so both yellow, I'm just going to call them by their color, both yellow and green of the new Labrynth archetype as soon as possible. Obviously either in your hand or graveyard, because like once per turn, depending on like if you discard a card or whatever, you can either special summon them back to the field or get them back from the graveyard to the hand. Again, what happens here? So it's like every turn you're kind of, it's a super control based deck, but it can escalate really quickly. And the Stratos here, the two on the left, they also have like a capability that you can draw one card and maybe set a card directly from your hand, for example. The field spell is important to the engine. It's not, let's say if your opponent destroys the field spell, your engine is crippled, no, far from. But the field spell is important because it gives you, at least it gives your Labrynth traps the potential extra destruction effect, so destroy one card from your opponent, or on the field, I think. That can be important, like this one. Welcome Labrynth is basically a hero lifts for the deck. So most of the time I'm either going for the Stratos, the one on the left here on the field, or the right one, and that's their boss monster that resets a trap from the graveyard. Plus important, the deck, the archetype, Labrynth, they also have like a built-in Night Assailant. When it's like discarded, for example, you can just get it back from your graveyard, for example. Or when like cards are discarded from your hand, you can just get it back from the graveyard, for example. Like, it's ridiculous. It's really, really ridiculous. And the thing is that your opponent needs to have a couple of hand traps to effectively stop you from setting up, because if you set up, things just start snowballing. Like here, the other boss monster sets a trap card directly from the deck, but it needs to state that an attack needs to be declared. So I'm playing two. That's the one of the mirror forces, the air mirror force, I believe, and forgot the name, the Labrynth trap. That it kind of works like a Utopia, but it's also very important because again, you want to search it, for example. Plus, you can and that's also a gimmick, destroy your own monsters, and then it starts snowballing all of the effects, like reborn thanks to the field spell, reborn both yellow and green, or green back to the hand, maybe set the Labrynth hero lifts trap from your graveyard back to the field. So you're quickly going like +3, +4. Again, because things just start snowballing. Okay, you're going minus again. Well, minus. Like both yellow and green discard one card, like what happens here, discard one card, and then you can set like one Labrynth spell or trap. So most of the time that's your hero lives, for example. So normal summon the Stratos, try to get the search, again get droplet, okay, that's fine. But I still have a lot of traps, plus the Night Assailant one The clock that's left in the hand, again, will just re-trigger during the next turn. Again, as soon as I discard something, you can just get it back from the graveyard. So it's basically a Knight Assailant for the archetype. Archfiend Glitch, that's the one. So pop one card and send one Fiend from your deck to the graveyard. Most of the time that's either your clock, your Knight Assailant, or green or yellow. You know, the ones that start things, you know, searching those spells and traps. And, you know, like if you activate like what is it, a normal trap, or remove something from the field, your Stratos also gets like a draw effect, so draw one. So it's really, really insane. So you just, you know, keep slapping those traps against your opponent, and again, like here, this is game. Your opponent was not able, at least the opponent was not able to, you know, break through my engine, and now I can just set up everything, activate my field spell, have a trap card, here in this case a normal trap, so a non-Labrynth trap, that kind of removes a monster, preferably from the field. Here, I guess I should have waited. Well, I mean, on my opponent, because again, if I destroy a monster from my opponent or on the field, again, things start rolling. I can draw a card, I can reborn something, and so on and so on. So I believe that was a bit better, but in the long run, here in this duel, it didn't really matter too much. But you really want to, at least the best traps here in the deck are the traps that, like, again, get rid of a monster on the field. Compels, Archfiend's Glitch, I believe the name is, and so on and so on. But obviously the other traps are important as well. Gamma is fantastic because if you draw Driver, it's not the end of the world. You can just discard it with either green or yellow, and you know, it's just free fodder. So there is like no risk for, at least from running Gamma. So this is the preferred setup. You have Stratos, which could potentially turn itself into a draw during your opponent's turn, for example. You have the field spell that could potentially reborn something from the graveyard when I believe a non-Labrynth is activated. I think so, yeah. So Imperm is activated, so I can indeed reborn one of the boss monsters. That boss monster, special, at least, you know, at, what is it, like sets, you know, a trap from the deck that states your opponent or any monster needs to declare an attack. So Labrynth, welcome Labrynth, special summon something from the deck. Again, make sure that you get green and yellow in circulation as quickly as possible. Trap Trick is fantastic. It's also a normal trap, searches any other trap, so it's a super flexible card. So use Omega. I probably should have used Extravagance first. It's not going to matter because I'm just going to use it for discard fodder, and again, both boss monsters on the right. One of them, the left one, I guess pumps itself up depending on how many traps you have in your graveyard. And oh, something I haven't mentioned yet, but you will see it, I believe, in the next one. The next one is the best one, the next duel, is that the Archetype has, next to the field spell, the Archetype has another spell that it's a quick play spell that you can set. It's like a Pot of Avarice. So 2 Labrynth traps, send them back to the deck, and then if you control a Fiend type, basically every monster from your deck, you can set the 2 non-Labrynth traps from your deck. So it's mind-blowing. Imagine giving Altergeist something like this, send 2 Altergeist traps back to the deck, and then set any non-Altergeist trap from your deck, so like Artifact Sanctum, Impermanence, Compels. It's really, really mind-blowing. So again, things start rolling, forcing out negations, was able to reborn thanks to the field spell. Again, the effect gets negated, use, that's the Archfiend card, I think, yep. So again, try to get both yellow and or green in circulation as soon as possible, because again, those have the capability to either reborn themselves or get themselves back to the hand, plus their effects are quick effects, so like what happens here. Again, discard a card, their Knight Assailant, which I should be able to get back with the effect, yep, because it wasn't used this turn. It's going to get banished, yep, it's something that you definitely want to get banished, plus yellow is, this was used, the effect goes through, setting, I believe here, the negate attack Labrynth trap. So draw 2, flip over welcome, the hero lives, special summon the Stratos, plus I have the field spell so I can pop 1 card, go over to the battle phase, negate the attack with my own trap, pop 1 card from me. Again, I don't want to give my opponent a potential ray. So that's all cool, and now everything starts, you know, snowballing, starts rolling, ranking up the pluses. Again, I can establish my board, make sure that setting this one, the quick play spell, that's the one that, you know, send 2 back and reset 2 every trap. Non-Labrynth traps. So Imperm is activated, that triggers their field spell, so reborning their boss monster, and now indeed use Glitch. pop the Sky Striker Ace, you know, send any fiend from the deck to the graveyard. Again, things start snowballing. Again, 3 pluses, reset the Labrynth trap, which is the hero lives. That should be, or did I use it during this turn? I think I used it. Use welcome, okay, that's fine. And that's also something important, is that your Knight Assailant can discard itself, and then you can use a trap during the same turn that when it's set. So the archetype as a whole, it's quite a scary archetype, and it might actually become top tier or tier 1. I mean, the build is far from optimal, but I mean, it definitely has potential, like this one. Setting send back 2, send 2 non-Labrynth traps, set imperm, the conditions of the card aren't that high. You can search basically like Sanctum and put your opponent on their side lock, so it's quite a ridiculous archetype, and who knows, they might get more support, but with a more optimal build, this is actually pretty scary. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Signing out. Peace.